Wow. What a weekend we had last week. We had the baby shower and the outpouring of love we experienced there was absolutely amazing. I don't think that you don't see Sheena because she's behind the piano most Sundays, but I don't think she has ever stopped smiling at what happened there. And it was followed by our youth service that Sunday. And seeing the kids there sing their song, Willow read the scripture, and Tristan joined in prayer, touched something deep inside of all of us. And then there was Mason. Man, that guy was impressive. Pretty proud of him. He was talking about relationship and God wanting us to be in relationship with Him as a church. I thought it would be interesting if we looked at it from the flip side of that coin. Instead of God wanting us to be in relationship with Him, what if we look at it from the other side? And the way that the devil is always at work trying to tear down those relationships. See, this is exactly what Jesus faced that day He met the enemy on the mountaintop. The devil's temptation was offering those material things that this world offers. It was to test Jesus. But at the heart of it all, the enemy was attempting in vain, to destroy Jesus' relationship with God. This, the word of our Lord. Jesus led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was finished. The tempter came to him and said, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." And then Jesus said to him, "Again, it is written, do not put your Lord, your God, to the test." And again, the devil took him to this very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and all of their splendor. And he said to them, "All these I will give to you, if you will fall down and worship me." And Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only Him." Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited on him. This, the word of our Lord. Praise be to God. See, the devil is scary. He's not scary because of his clothes or his hair or his big horns. He's not scary because he's holding a pitchfork and dancing around in a pit of fire. Instead, he's scary. He is scary because he's invisible. See, the forces of good that are always pulling us in, pulling us toward that covenant or relationship of all that is good. But then there is also a voice of evil, a small, quiet voice that rises from our unspoken anxieties and untold fears and tries to tear down that relationship. See, the first way the devil tries to tear us down is through doubt. There's a psychological abuse methodology referred to as gaslighting. The term comes from a 1944 film where an abusive husband drives his wife mad by questioning reality. It starts where the husband turns down the gas lights in the house. And when she goes and questions him, "I've never touched it. You must be going crazy." And her views of reality start to be altered. Then he repaints one of the yellow rooms blue. And when his wife comes and questions him again, he questions her sanity, claiming that room has always been blue. And slowly, her version of reality begins to slip. And then he takes his infant child over to his sister's and leaves behind an empty crib. And when that young wife gets up in the middle of the night, she looks down at that vacant crib, looking for her baby. And he tells her they've never had children. And she slips into complete and total madness. Her grasp of reality had disappeared. See, this is exactly how the devil worked on Jesus. He questioned Jesus' view of reality. "Take this stone and turn it into bread," he said. And the enemy sat in front of Jesus and dared him to question his reality. dared him to throw aside his identity as the Son of God. But Jesus knew better. Because the reality of Jesus was so strong that the relationship could never be rended. That through all the smoke and mirrors, that there was a solid and eternal truth. That man does not live by bread alone. That the Son of God will not break his faith, nor will he break his fast. And Jesus held on to a truth that the devil could not destroy. See, we face this temptation every day. Remember, Jesus had been fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. And as Scripture tells us, he was famished. He was starving. And when the devil said to him, "You should eat," Jesus remained steadfast to that promise. Man does not eat by bread alone. And we all come to this place hungry. And as we struggle to make enough food to feed our family, and where the next bill is going to get paid, we are all starving. We may be lonely and tired and confused and afraid. And we are all that hungry. And if the devil comes to this our mountaintop, and offers us a false reality, and tells us that this will dry your tears, or this other thing will give you courage, he's inviting us into an alternate reality. One we know is not the truth. When the trials come and tells us the stone is bread, remember your relationship with God. Remember that covenant with God made with us, the note, the seas parted, the dry land came up from the earth. Remember that lesson in the desert. Remember that we do not live off bread alone, just like Christ had taught us. And see, the second way that the enemy sneaks up on us is through a sort of bait-and-switch tactic. Bait-and-switch is an old marketing term. A guy goes to a car lot to buy a BMW for a great price. He sees the price, he gets really excited, he comes with all of his hard-earned stack of money, ready to go. See, that BMW is bait. It draws the man into the lot. And when he gets there, he looks over the car and discovers it's really just a 20-year-old hoopty with a BMW sticker stacked to his front. It's bait and switch. And the devil offered Jesus jewels and gold and kingdoms, trying to get him to take the bait. The enemy tries to trick Jesus to trade in the kingdom of heaven for the kingdom of earth. And Jesus did not take the bait. Jesus was offered jewels and pretty things and vast power. He had a chance to take these things, but he didn't. Instead, he held fast to the relationship he had with God. He held on tight to the kingdom of heaven. Later in his career, at Mark 14:25, Jesus says it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. He didn't say this to condemn earthly wealth. But here is Jesus, who befriended the widow and the pauper and the tax collector. He said this because the pursuit of earthly things can lead us to some dark, dark places. And we know these dark places all too well. Our world preys on dark spaces. We may feel that we don't have enough, that we have to get the next phone, or it's all in pursuit of the latest and the greatest. So we skip Sunday morning to go away to the Apple store, all in pursuit of sparkling things, of worldly things. And we get the iPhone number 212, and it's really cool for about a week, and then the iPhone 213 is announced, and we're left empty again. Bait and switch. And we remember Christ. Remember Christ on that mountaintop when he said, "Worship the Lord your God and only him." And when we do, our relationship with God is affirmed. In the first two ways, the devil is trying to destroy our relationship with God. Let's notice the commandments that are offered at Matthew 22:37. Jesus offered us two. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. Now in the third way, the devil tries to get at that second half of that statement. Love your neighbor as much as yourself. See, in this, the third way, the devil tries to get us to destroy our relationship with each other. And we see this in the world, all around us. People doing merciless things to one another, trying to tear us apart. There are battle lines being drawn, separated by the color of their skin or their gender or their sexual orientation. No longer are people talking and conversating about the love of God that we all share. Instead, we are using our gift the gift of our human race to try to tear down one another. The enemy is destroying our relationships and attacking us, not through guns and knives, although they inevitably result, but through our personal relationships. Instead of coming together, we are divided apart. Instead of joining in conversation, we are separated from each other. And that relationship collapses into calling each other names. This happens everywhere. In our places of work, in our places of rest, on the streets and in the church. Everywhere we go, the devil is working on our relationships and trying to tear us apart. Outside the church, we start lobbing alphabet bombs at each other. A bombs, B bombs, C bombs. Inside the church, we start pointing, or inside any place where human beings are gathered, we start pointing fingers, saying, that's a fool, that's an idiot. And name calling, that's a conversation killer. It's labeling somebody and the conversation ends right there. And then, do you know what happens next? While the children of God, while the children of creation, children of the church are bickering amongst themselves, another child is going hungry. Another widow is forgotten. Another soul is lost. Instead of coming together in conversation, instead of being a people of grace for the non-believer to aspire to, we are reduced to nothing but ashes of the enemy. In those places, there may still be a city on the hill, but that light sure ain't shining. And it's hard to believe that there are people of God out there that might act like this. It's hard to believe, but this is exactly what happened to a church in Revelation in Laodicea. This was a church that was filled with strife. It had isolated itself from the outside world. Its relationships were broken. And inside, the relationships were not much better. They had closed the world out and closed the world in. And the devil was at work deconstructing their relationships. Instead of opening the door and letting love reign in, they allowed old wounds to take on new forms. They were all inside and Christ was on the outside. The world was locked on the inside, and all the hatred, distrust, and anger, and all the flaws of humanity were locked in as well. But then Christ came knocking. Revelation 3:20. Listen, I am standing at the door, knocking. If you hear my voice, open the door. I will come into you and eat with you, and you with me. To the one who conquers, I will give him a place with me on my throne, just as I myself conquered and sat down with my Father on his throne. Let anyone who has an ear listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. So now, my friends, let us open the door. Jesus is right there knocking. Let us open the door and let the love of God shower us in all of its glory. We are God's people, and we are defined by everything that relationship and all that definition requires. Knock, knock. The kingdom of heaven is within our grasp. Let's embrace it together. Let's talk about our differences and find new ways to love more than the old wounds. Let us show the enemy that our construction is stronger than his destruction. Let us be honest in our truth. Let us be in relationship. This is hopeless. I don't have time for you, God, right now. I'm busy. Loving my neighbor. Why even try? If you believe anything that I just said, then you have come to the right place. Because in here we have the truth. Not just any truth, but a transcendent truth. That love is possible. That grace is real. And the world may tell us that things aren't not as they are. That we can't love each other. That we can't worship the God of love and peace and mercy. But here we are. Here we are as living proof of God's goodness in the world. Here we are standing for love and peace. We are people of love and grace and refuse to be gaslighted by the falseness of the world. We stand on love. We are the children of God. We are the bearers of peace. And we know because through the loving example of Christ, we are not fed by bread alone. And that all the riches in the world can't amount to one tiny speck of heaven. And the world may tell us that there is no ever after. that this world is all that there is. But we are brought to Christ, and as we are, all those lies just fade away. And despite what the world says, death does not end it. Because we are children of the transcendent truth. Children of mercy. Children of love. Children of hope. Take my hand, my friends. Jesus is knocking on the door. Let us open it. And let us let love reign in.